Hi, and welcome to the Okeechobee tasting room, where we have a very tiny kitchen and great big flavor. So today we're going to do homemade bratwurst. So we're going to start with about a 7.5 pound Boston butt that I've already deboned. So I'm going to cut it into cubes, and so that it'll fit through our grinder. Boston butt's good because it's about the right ratio of meat to fat. So when you're making sausage, you want enough fat so that it will cook correctly when you fry it, grill it, whatever your preference is to do with it. And I say 1-inch square, so long as it'll fit in the tube of your grinder, you'll be okay. The one thing you're going to need is a recipe for your seasoning mix, or like I do it, kind of semi-homemade, and buy it already prepared. So in this case, we're using a 1/4 cup plus 3 tablespoons plus a teaspoon of our bratwurst seasoning mix. I'm using the High Mountain brand. It's available from Cabela's, Bass Pro, and online from their website. They're not a sponsor, but I do like their products. I use them for jerky and different seasonings. The best way to work with your meat is keeping it as cold as you can possibly stand. I laid this out yesterday to thaw and then put it out back in the refrigerator. It's probably not as cold as I should have it, but I can tell you it's pretty cold. And on a hot South Florida summer day, it don't take it long to warm up, especially here in this tiny house kitchen. We'll give you a tour of our kitchen someday. We've got some work going on, redoing the dining room, moving some things around, and just making it more compatible for our lifestyle, which is pretty simple, easy. We like a lot of our meals prepared at home. We don't eat out much. very little. We make our own sausage, our own bread. Since we live in a small retirement park, we don't have space for a garden, or we grow our own veggies. We do keep a lot of canned goods on hand for emergencies, power outages, hurricanes, different storms. So this meat's cutting up really nice. This was a Boston butt I bought at Sam's. I usually have pretty good luck with about anything I buy at Sam's. Now, some people like to put beef in their sausages, and I have before. I just basically like just the whole hog sausage. Okay, there we go. We got it all diced up in small chunks. Okay, there's about the size that you want. It'll fit through the chute of the grinder. What I'm using is the grinder attachment for my KitchenAid, which I never realized how indisposable KitchenAid was until I used it and bought several of the attachments. I think the only attachment we don't have is the pasta maker. But we've got the old hand crank for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure it's locked down. We're going to start this thing up. I've got the large grind. Which is what I'm going to use for the bratwurst. I like it a little better. And it goes pretty quick. What we'll do is after this is ground up, then we'll add our seasoning, mix it, and then we'll run it back through again so that the grinder actually mixes it before we start stuffing our sausage in. Over in the background, I've got some whole hog casings soaking in water. They're packed in salt, so you got to soak them to get the salt off of them. They're a little bit of a pain to work with, but boy, it sure makes the sausages turn out good. So this goes by pretty quick. This Boston butt has a real nice ratio of meat to fat. I'd say it's probably 80-20. which I've made sausage before just using pork loin. And you go to fry it in a skillet, especially for like sausage, breakfast sausage, you got to add fat because it doesn't have any content. Well, not any, very little. Okay, and there's our last piece. So, here's our mix. Just basically different spices, salt, different seasonings. So what we're going to do is we're going to just take this and get in there with our hands and mix it around, not tip over the mixer. We just want to get the seasoning pretty well mixed in with our meat. Now with these, we're not going to cure these. These will be fresh. In another video, we're going to do a Polish sausage that we add curing salts and then take out and put in the smoker. Right now, for this is just going to be stuffed into casings and then vacuum sealed, put in the freezer. Just like the ones you get from the store. So there we go. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator for a little bit, let it get cold again. And actually I'll probably just put it in the freezer. So we'll be back, show you the next step. Okay, one important step about making sausage is making sure that everything is always clean. Everything in your kitchen, when you're making sausage or really anything, is to make sure, and I do this, to wipe everything down with Lysol wipes to kill any bacteria. I certainly don't want anybody getting sick in my house. I don't want them getting sick in yours either. So just always remember, just wipe things off. They don't take long. And in a tiny kitchen like this one, which is basically... Okay, welcome back. What we're going to do now is get our casings ready. They are slimy little suckers. piece of paper towel here. We'll kind of lay them out. Now what I'm using is hog casing, so it does pretty good. It sometimes gets a tear in it. I'm gonna run some water through it to get it started. Okay, so we run a little bubble of water through there. Kinda opens it up. And we put it on the stuffer. So this can be a little time consuming, but if you do it right, it's going to come out right once you start stuffing. And I'm not real great at it. I'm a little slow, so I kind of take my time. And I mean, you may have another way of doing it your own way, but this is the way I do it. So we're actually doing about 6 pounds of bratwurst. And hopefully it goes pretty quick because I'm getting hungry. Okay, there we go. We got the casings on there. We're ready to start stuffing the sausage. So we let it sit in the refrigerator, for maybe an hour. Let the fats get solidified again. And so now we're ready to go. I'd say take the end off and tie a knot in it first, but you want your sausage to get in there first. You don't want a big bubble there. It takes a second to go. I took everything apart while this was chilling and cleaned everything real good. Okay, here it comes. We'll take that little bit off. And now, since we've got our sausage clear out here at the end of the tube, we can pull a little bit off. And I'll just tie it in a knot. It's not the easiest thing to do. But there we go. And so there we have our first bratwurst. And so we have some handy dandy kitchen twine. I'm just going to tie them off because I can never seem to get it right. Cheers. And like I said, I'm slow. You know, there's no right or wrong way to do this, just practicing and doing it your own way. There are a lot of videos out there to show you how to do this. This is just one way. Not be the easiest way, but it's the way that I've kind of taught myself how to do it. Okay, that's going to be it for this one. I'll have to try another one on. There we go. There's our first round of bratwurst. And here's our brats, vacuum sealed and ready to go into the freezer. Brats cooking slowly in an electric skillet. going to be a yummy, yummy dinner. Can you smell that? They smell so good.